Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 29th December 2016. The first article is Tel Aviv on tenterhooks. This article is about UN Security Council Resolution 2334. To understand this article better, we need to understand what is the present situation in Israel-Palestine conflict. You know that 1967 war, which is famously called as 6 Days War or Yom Kippur War, has made the Israel to be a strong military force in that region, and the Arab countries which have attacked the Israel, they lost the war badly. At that situation, the West Bank and then Gaza Strip and also Golan Heights of Syria and Sinai Peninsula, they came under the control of Israel. Now later the Oslo Accords, the two-nation theory was proposed, and this two-nation theory even today is upheld by the United Nations and all the permanent members of the UN Security Council as a solution forward. Israel, though appears explicitly agreed to two-nation theory, but in actions always violative of the same. Now what this two-nation theory says is, the Gaza Strip, this particular area, West Bank, and this Gaza Strip, and then East Jerusalem, these shall be the part of the Palestinian land, and the remaining comes up as the Israel land. It means two states are being created on the same land, one for the Arabs and the other for the Jews. So here, slowly Israel started building the settlements in the West Bank. You can see the difference in the map over here. As the Israel settlements are increasing, then the security concerns and also the mistrust between the people is also rising. So there is Palestinian Liberation Authority in power in the West Bank, and in the Gaza Strip, there is a much violent, the Hamas has come to power, and Israel has taken up the Gaza blockade, which was criticized, and also Israel is building a wall against the Gaza, across the Gaza, this West Bank, and it is also moving sometimes eastward to more than 13 kilometers. So it means this particular apartheid wall, which has been described by the Palestinians, is eating away their land in the West Bank. And these all the white spots, these are the Israeli settlements in the West Bank. And wherever the Israel settlements are there are the blockades kept by the Israel forces, and it is restricting the movement of the Palestinians from one place to the other place. And these Israel settlements in the West Bank are declared as illegal by the United Nations Security Council. In spite of this, UN Security Council is moving forward. In spite of this UN Security Council's warning, Israel is moving forward. Now, in this case, Palestine is recognized as a state in the UN and also in the International Criminal Court, which has come into existence through Rome Statute. And here, there are many cases which are pending against the Israel for the atrocities conducted against the Arabs. These ICC was unable to move forward as there is no political clarity from the UN on this particular matter. And this International Criminal Court is also under pressure that it shall look beyond the Africa and has to focus on the cases which are happening in the other part of the world too. So ICC has appointed one prosecutor on this matter, and she is Fatou Bensouda, and she is active already in Israel. But only the problem for her is to move forward, is to have the political approval for UN. The 2334 UN Security Council resolution, yes, it has provided for the necessary political approval. Here we need to see the United States stand. Whenever anything has come up against the Israel, US has vetoed that in the UN Security Council. US has provided for the necessary cover for the Israel. But this time US has abstained from voting, and it led to the passage of this resolution. So, as the political will has come from the United Nations, then International Criminal Court can move forward. Why did the US has abstained from voting? The reason is very simple. The US has strongly supported for the two-nation theory and tried to make the Israel understand about it, which the Israeli leadership is not willing to listen. So, finally what we can say is, the party in power, Benjamin Netanyahu's party, it is the far rightist party, and it has got this greater Israel in mind, which consists of this entire land, that the Gaza Strip, West Bank, Jerusalem, and everything. So, in that view, it is trying to extend its settlements further and further into the West Bank. And coming to statesmanship at Pearl Harbor. Now, Pearl Harbor is historically important. This is the naval base of United States, and Japan has bombed this, and it plunged the US into the World War II and changed the war dynamics forever. And finally, US has bombed dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and destructed both the cities. And it has brought the World War II to an end. In this case, the American narrative about the ending of the World War is the atomic bombs, if not been used, much have been the casualty from the World War II. It has put a quick end to the war. And then, President Obama recently visited the Hiroshima, last year he visited the Hiroshima. He paid the condolences over there, but he did not express the sorry for the things happened. Though it was the greatest gesture from the American president. He was the first president who has visited Hiroshima while being in office. I think previously Carter also made a visit, but after the office he did that. Now, with regard to the Pearl Harbor, the American wounds are still alive. Now, the president, that is Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, has visited, and there is an effort towards the reconciliation. And always war wounds are the difficult to heal. And both the countries, there are significant sentiments on this matter. And this particular exercise of statesmanship from President Obama and Prime Minister Shinzo Abe towards reconciliation can heal these wounds. At least it will have symbolic value to heal these wounds. And this is what is important aspect. Now, stories of Notbandi. More than the Notbandi, I want to explain you about the Jan Sunwai. So you know that MKSS, it is the reason for the RTI Act being passed by the Parliament. In this case, the Jan Sunwais, these are the people assemblies, and they have become very much popular as the people movements and also under concept of social accountability. In this case, the Notbandi and Jan Sunwai was conducted, and it has seen clearly the views of the people at the grassroots level, whom have stated that it has caused the difficulties and loss of business and livelihoods. So it may prove politically fatal for the Prime Minister Modi, according to this article. Now, intermarriages. Now here let us see Gandhian view and the Ambedkar view. Gandhian view is about upliftment of the marginalized, especially the Dalits. And Ambedkar view is about regaining the self-respect, or it is basically, he viewed the marriage or lack of intercaste marriage is a reason for the flourishing of the caste system. So, if the caste has to be annihilated, the intercaste marriages are a way forward. And he even opposed the intercaste, deeming all these as the superficial measures. Only the blood has to mix. That's what is the Ambedkar's viewpoint. And also, you know, that is what is social endosmosis. Last week we have covered this. The free movement of the thoughts and ideas across the people, we call it as endosmosis. According to Ambedkar, the caste is the major barrier for this endosmosis to occur. So in this case, intercaste marriages, it was never a political agenda for any political party, including the BSP. So if we see what is the attitude of the Indians for this, and most of the Indians, wherever they are living in the rural or urban areas, not even based on gender, either it is men or women, everyone are opposing to the intercaste marriages. That shows how deep the caste has percolated into the mind of Indians. And the second is, the worst part is, a person is more educated, he has got more reservations about the caste and intercaste marriages. It brings into question very much the education, what the objective it is attaining for. Is the education providing for the social endosmosis, as Mr. Dave has spoken about? According to Dave, the education has to provide for the sharing of the ideas, broadening of the views of the people, and shall facilitate the famous social endosmosis. Is this happening is the question. Now, coming to the main page, Here we need to talk about the Indian Olympics Association. It has declared Mr. Suresh Kalmadi, who is accused in the case of Commonwealth Games scam, as a permanent member or permanent honorary president. In this case, cleaning of the sports bodies is very much in the news, and try to look into that, as BCCI thing is also going on. And coming to this new thing, I mean, this disease is not named, and we are curious of knowing more and more, and our screen time, it means the time we spend on the screen, is increasing. So what are the health consequences and mental disorders which are going to come because of this? That is what has been expressed by this article. And Abe offers condolences at Pearl Harbor. Already we have discussed this. And then Turkey, Russia prepare a Syria truce plan. You know that recently a meeting was held between Iran, Turkey and Russia, who are the major partners to the going on war in Syria. And for Russia and Iran, Iran is totally support of the Assad. Russia is also in support of the Assad in war. For them, the first thing is to fight the ISIS and also the rebels, that is terrorism, rather than the Assad. On the other hand, Turkey is very much opposed to the Assad regime, and any future for the Syria shall be, or any future arrangement for Syria shall be devoid of the Assad. That is what is the Turkish argument over here. And then, two-state solution in Syria's geoparty, that is Kerry. It is also about UN Security Council Resolution 2334. According to Mr. John Kerry, the Secretary of the State, he clearly expressed that US is in favor of the two-state solution, but the expanding settlements of Israel in the West Bank, they will jeopardize this two-state solution for this. And coming to new redressal body, with regard to the financial sector, we do not have the proper redressal mechanisms. So we have to create financial redressal organizations. The center has proposed for the creation of financial redressal agency, which is a step forward and it need to be welcomed. And as I gave you certain questions, what is the UN Security Council resolution? What is the stand of the United States on this? What is International Court, Criminal Court, and how it functions? These are the various questions which I gave you. And again, please think for answers on these questions. And it makes you to remember for long. And don't try to be lazy, or don't try to take everything for granted or to be spoon-fed. And again, I am not going to change my way of teaching, and I am not going to spoon-feed you. Please remember one simple thing. This examination needs efforts from you. The teacher can contribute only for 20 to 25%. Your efforts has to be 75 to 80%. You need to win this exam, not your teachers. And the second thing is, I request you to be not to discontinue the reading of the Hindu paper because of this video. It just gives you a highlight of what is happening around. And finally, if you can go through these questions, then your memory will be long lasting. It is scientifically proven that a question based or intuition based, or else something which you have teased your brain, it will have a long term memory. So that's why please try to go through the questions. And again, I'll give you the notes definitely, but you need to adopt yourself to answering of these questions. And again, if you are preparing for interview, and make sure that you answer these questions before the mirror. Thank you very much. And this notes, repeatedly the students are asking for where is it being posted. laex.in/civilsprep, CIVALSPREP, civils prep. So if you go through this website, you will have these notes posted over there. Thank you very much and all the best.